has taken over. Let's go. It's Pharrell. Coast to coast. Steaks, chicks, stacks. You and I are going to make a lot of money. It's Pharrell. Coast to coast. It's Pharrell on a bench, coast to coast in the biggest way possible, hanging out the bad seed, the broken day, the bad apple with a bad attitude. We are live in New York City, the Big Apple. Ooh. People dressed in plastic bags, directing traffic, some kind of fighting, shake it up, shadooby, along with the Tutty and Tater King himself, the master of ceremonies, the sheet of integrity rights holder, the original founder and host of the now defunct ILC podcast, the stuff of legend, Carver High this afternoon, ladies. Frank the Tank running it for Mafia today. Luke Ayamilpada is with us, but he'll be going to another wedding on Friday. This guy is he is the, what was the movie, Carver High? The Wedding Planner? What was it?
Vince
Vaughn,
yeah, the wedding. That was Wedding Crashers. That was Wedding Crashers with Vince Vaughn and Owen Wilson. But
this is what this guy's doing
Luke.
now. He's a wedding crasher. Your boy Luke. Free food, booze, and desserts, and cigars.
That's a lot of envelopes. That's a lot of envelopes.
I've heard that he started squatting at some of these places. They have these weddings. He's just living there. He's taking over.
They're not going to do anything to him, right? So they won't do anything to him, so you might as well.
They're not. We got a rundown for a Thirsty Thursday. A double shot with Morency in the first hour. A double shot with Adam Kaplan in the final hour, our NFL insider, plus another edition of Bust a Cap in Yo Ass. All that happening today on C2C. So we've got a Lions-Packers debriefing today on C2C as they'll tangle at Ford Field tonight in the Motor City as Week 14 kicks off on Prime at around 8:15. And we got it all going with that tonight.
Yeah, this is a really good Thursday night game. We've had a couple this year, but when you have an 11-1 team, you got a 9-3 team getting together, both out of the black and blue NFC North division. And it's not one of these short week Thursday nights. Remember, they both played last Thursday, so they've got their normal week of prep and rest. So I think we're going to have a fun game tonight, Scotty. I know the Lions are obviously still hanging on that 3.5 number. Big total. I don't think we'll get as lucky to get as many points as we got Monday night between the Broncos and the Browns, but I think we're going to get a hell of a game tonight in Detroit between these two.
I hope so, right? Like you would think. They're the cream of the NFC outside of the Eagles. I think the Packers are that other team that people have betting interest in, and I think that Love is a little bit of a renegade, the way he throws the ball dangerously at times. And then you got this Lions offense, which is seamless, and they're certainly exciting, and they figured out a way to go, 11-1. And so 11-1, 9-3, it sets up for a delicious game. Hopefully it'll exceed our expectations.
Hopefully it will as well. So we will talk plenty about the Lions and the Packers here today. On Coast to Coast. I got tutties for you as well for us tonight. And we do a 4-pack because it's a big total. So we got to go for a 4-pack tonight with the tutties. So we will get that. I've got
Shakur tonight for Detroit.
4-pack for the tutties. We'll get everybody involved. We will go through plenty of the games for this week as well. We'll hear from some of the particulars. I know we have Patrick Mahomes today, Kyler Murray, Caleb Williams. So we'll start to go through all the other matchups for Week 14 in the NFL. I wanted to also talk to you here about some of this college rack from last night because last night was a heavy night of college rack, and I actually got to watch a good portion of a few of those games. I was on Creighton last night, jumped on while I was doing the radio show. Outright win over Kansas, number 1 Kansas. I thought Cooper Flagg was insane against Auburn. Alabama beat North Carolina's ass in Chapel Hill. It was a great night, Scotty, of college rack.
Yeah, look, I said this earlier today to somebody that I thought that the Auburn-Duke game was a Final Four game. I literally thought that game at Cameron Indoor was as good as it gets in college basketball. What was cool about it was, for me, I mean, I had a game, and it was a late game, that Duke game. My game was a late game. I got home, I got to watch that game, and, pretty much at the end of the first half, into the second half, so I really watched a couple of guys, Broome and Flagg, play ball. I thought Broome was excellent. 20 points, 12 boards. Obviously, he was 8 of 18 from the floor. He didn't hit any threes, but he was 4 of 6 from the line. He did it all. He had a swat. That guy's got a future at the next level for certain. And then when it comes to Flagg, 22, 11, and 4, 7 of 18 from the floor, 0 of 4 from downtown, 8 of 12 from the line. He hit some big free throws. He had 2 blocks. He had a little bit of a leg problem. He didn't come out. He toughed it out. That impressed me. I'm sitting there watching him going, this kid was playing, let's face it, high-level high school basketball and, high-level AAU his whole childhood. This guy is special. It's interesting watching him play, how they, really everything goes through him, and then they got all this other talent. I think they're a Final Four caliber team. But I have to tell you, I think Bruce Pearl is a great coach. And, I think he's going to drop dead on a basketball court. The guy's turning purple like I did when I had my heart attack. The guy's, he's got it written all over him that he's about ready to drop dead. When he's coaching, he's so mad and so crazy and so insane. You remember he used to sweat like a pig. Now he doesn't even wear coats and everything. He wears T-shirts because he knows what's going to happen. But I have to tell you, his team, they never wavered. They were in that game to the bitter end, and they can play anybody, anywhere, anytime, any day. And that's what makes a Final Four or championship level team to me. I think Pearl's got a wickedly dangerous basketball team in Auburn, and I think they are better than Duke. I do think they are better than Duke. I think Duke won that game last night because of Cameron Indoor Arena, and they got some calls. They get that home cooking, and if they played that game in the tournament, in the Final Four, in a neutral site, and I think it's going to be a different outcome. I think Auburn would beat them. Auburn can play for a national championship this year. They're that good, Mike.
Yeah, I would not be surprised if we see those two again sometime down the road in March or even early April at the Final Four, as you just mentioned. It is very possible. So we'll go through all the college rack. I got some NBA, lots of games tonight. We'll talk about a few from last night. Lakers got embarrassed in Miami. I know I have JJ Redick for you today from after the game,
Clippers,
so we will discuss that.
Too.
Nice effort by the Clippers, and I did see you tweeting about that last night. They were down like 45. Like they were getting destroyed in that
I don't
game.
even remember what I said. I was on about my 5th rum at that point. It was like 1 a.m.
Paycheck game. This is a paycheck game for the Clippers. You're getting all over them last night for the lack of effort. They just didn't show up. They just were not there for the game. So we'll do that. The A's gave out the largest contract in franchise history to Luis Severino. 3 years, $67 million. How about that? The A's going to Sacramento and spending money now. Whoa.
It's good work if you can get it. I've always told you, guys don't care where they play.
Yes.
All they care about is the money.
That's it.
Enter into the magical world of McLuck.com, where even the smallest of spins can win real cash prizes. Adventure into over 1,000 of the best Vegas-style slot games. So what are you waiting for? Unlock your free welcome offer today. Join the fun where winners play and players win.
It's a new era in CFP to start off this year, put on full display.
My take on this game is simple. I know some people will be upset about it. Good riddance to the Pac-12.
Can you do it in terms of the week-to-week?
I don't see a pathway for this team to miss the college football playoffs.
We want to make sure you have those best bets in the entirety of our betting cards. That was thinking! But he had that program was already going there!
Only on Sports Grid.
We live in a society right now where everybody's a snowflake, everybody's a cupcake, and everybody thinks that nothing is fair. Everything is like, it's not fair. We should have a better chance. We need more. You know what? I'm old enough to remember when you needed to have a perfect goddamn record to win a college football championship. That's the way it was. 11-1, too bad.
Sports Rage tonight, only on Sports Grid.
Fillet Indiana. They would smash them.
What?
Honestly.
You listen to yourself speak. That's not a reality question. They have not played each other. You are using hypothetical.
And they got embarrassed.
So many
if
teams
they would
do.
have won that football, yes, that's you're
but that's the thing, Johnny. No. Stop.
The only argument is Indiana is a decent football team and a product of their environment.
The early line, only on Sports Grid.
He shouldn't need to hire outside help at this point to be able to help him, let alone outside help, Joe, that used to work for him.
Until they get him out of the way, I just don't see how this gets any better. And like you said, who are you picking from? Because most people who know the league want nothing to do with the ownership group there with the Jets.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on Sports Grid.
You can catch Sports Rage weeknights at 10 on all of our outlets. And on Sunday nights, you can catch Morency doing the Sunday night football game, which is badass on Sports Grid. It's better and smarter to be on Sports Grid at all times. In fact, yesterday I was having dinner and my daughter goes, "Look, you're on my friend's refrigerator television." And I looked and there I was on the kid's refrigerator television. And then she said, another one told me today that she was picking up her kid at the gym, and you were on at the gym. You're on, at the gym. You're on the refrigerator. I said, "Cha, Sports Grid's everywhere, baby. Get used to it." But we get Morency with a double shot on C2C every day, which is awesome. Do you think that Bruce Pearl will drop dead coaching basketball? Because I had my heart attack the morning of that I had a problem. I was playing ball 30 seconds into the game. The guy goes, "Yo, man, you're purple, dude." And I went, "Yeah, I don't feel too good." Then we came on the air on Coast to Coast at like 3 o'clock, a half hour into the show. Mafia goes, "Hey, I don't know, but you're kind of purple." And I went, "Yeah, I don't feel so good." So I'm watching this guy coach last night, and he was purple. I mean, my man turns purple when he's coaching, and he's sweating like Fred Flintstone. And I'm like, I think he's going to drop dead coaching, which is probably where he wants to go, wouldn't you think?
Not a bad way. It's like if you or I died on the air.
Yeah.
It's worse ways to go. You know what I mean? It sounds ghoulish, but it'd be like, no, actually, you know what? Like all things considering, if I just sort of boom, be like, well, hey, that's the way to go, man. Best show ever. Best show ever. It's a good point, though, Scott. It's a good point that between Hurley and Pearl, which one of them's going to have a heart attack first?
Izzo.
And Izzo. I think Izzo's past it. Izzo sort of like knows Izzo's old enough, Scott.
He's angry. He's very
angry. When he gets real mad, though, he sort of walks away. He's like, all right, I'm going to have a heart attack. I got to chill out. Hurley and Pearl, listen, it's hard not to like Bruce Pearl. I mean, any guy that's walking around shirtless with football fans, and Pearl likes to pound them back and party, right?
Right.
That's the thing with Pearl. We'd have a good time hanging out, a night out on the town with Bruce Pearl. I just saw this yesterday, actually, Scott, on KTLA on their medical segment that the 3 most days in the year in America, the most heart attacks: Christmas Day, the day after Christmas, December 26th, and January 1st. So it's heart attack season coming up, actually.
Listen, it's no laughing matter. It means business. I got to tell you, though, I think he can really coach. His team is so tough, so talented, so hard to beat. I said earlier they got beat by Cameron Indoor. I think if they played him in a Final Four, Auburn can beat Duke. I think Auburn can beat anybody. And I don't certainly think Izzo has that type of team anymore in East Lansing.
No.
I've seen him. But I really don't believe I love Danny Hurley, great coach. He's insane as well. He reminds me of Bob Knight. But I do not believe that's a national championship team this time. He got back-to-back, but not this one.
I'm not going to dismiss UConn yet. UConn, I remember last year UConn had a couple of flashes where people thought they weren't the team to beat anymore. So it's still early, Scott. I'm not going to dismiss the UConn Huskies, but I will say this, me personally, I'm more interested in the college scene so far this year than the NBA. And I know it's still early in the NBA, and it doesn't start till Christmas and all that. So I get that. I'm not dismissing the NBA as a whole, but you just brought it up. There's some really good college basketball teams at the top of the board right now, Scott. Like, I'm with you. I was buying in. I was on the Auburn Tigers last night. I ended up not covering the number, but I did hit the over, and I went bigger on the over. But I really like this Auburn team. Duke is the real deal. Kentucky's a dangerous team. I know you look at Kansas. They lost last night, at Creighton, but still a very, very dangerous team at the top. A lot of these blue bloods are really good this year, Scott. And I was thinking, it's way too early, but I think Auburn are definitely national championship material. I think maybe, does Bruce Pearl ever get it? He's one of these guys, been around forever, has never won a championship, right? There's very few college coaches that won championships, guys, actually, if you think about it.
I think he will. And
they play defense. They got offense and defense. That's what I like about it. Like, you can't be one, you can't be one-dimensional and win an NCAA tournament. You got to be good at both ends of the court. And, one thing with Duke, Scott, that Cooper Flagg's only going to get better and better and better as the season goes along, too, right? I mean, that's the thing. Duke are still a worker. All these teams are still works in progress. How about the Michigan Wolverines, Scott? They went into Cole and talked about it.
That was huge.
They beat Wisconsin in Wisconsin. Dustin May's doing a great job. He's already taken a team to the Final Four, man. Listen, if he took FAU to the Final Four, don't tell me he can't take Michigan to the Final Four.
Yeah, I'm not going to argue with that. Here's a couple guys, and I know you've heard of them, Dylan Harper and Ace Bailey at Rutgers.
Yeah, Rutgers.
They're both, I believe, already. They're NBA. Like, they're already. I think they're, both of them, I think Cooper Flagg is an unbelievable basketball player. But I know Dylan, right? I've seen him train every morning where I play ball. I play at 6 a.m., and this kid's there at 5 a.m. knocking down 100 threes in a row. It's like nothing I've ever seen. He's in there with these two trainers busting his ass before he went to Rutgers. But since he's been to Rutgers, he's had some big games, and so has Bailey. I think they're both, frankly, a step ahead of Cooper Flagg at where they are right now with their bodies and their development and as players. And I think Flagg is insanely good. You're talking – there are so many great college basketball players right now that are headed to the NBA. It's not even funny.
Yeah, it's actually not a bad draft this year. You're right. This year, the talent pool is a little bit deeper, and you got the veteran players, you got the young studs. There's a nice mix, but college basketball has been fun. And you know what I really like about this, Scott? I love how all these big-time teams are playing each other, man. Like, seriously, they're like, bring it on. Like, what I mean? If we lose, we lose.
Go.
Fine. Like, you look at Duke, all right? Yeah, we lost to Kentucky. We went to Arizona. We beat Arizona. We just beat Auburn. All this is going to help us. It's, you brought up Tom Izzo. It's the one thing that Izzo always got, Scott, right, all the time. And I know Michigan State aren't what they were, but Izzo always used to play everybody early. They would lose early, and it toughens you up, man. Just point blank, it toughens you up. A lot of these teams, they get to the NCAA tournament, they played one or two tough games or something. These teams have already played like a handful of, battles, man.
They're battle tested. We'll come back and talk Lions Pack.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Right here with you on Pro Football Today on SportsGrid. Odds in motion, trying to see what lines have moved throughout the week.
Never felt more comfortable in this set than I do for this year. I am ready. I'm just getting angry. The hot takes are going to be here all long, people.
What in the world is going on in Miami, Dom?
It's not particularly anything to shy away from just because many people are on top of it.
Hot take, hot take.
I think this line is asking you once again to take New Orleans.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
The two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take.
Ka-ching!
Why? Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results.
What? How do you do this once?
Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
He did. Bob Knight called me asshat for 42 years, and not hat either. He literally till the day he died, and he would do the show, periodically. He would come on the show through the years at Stern and at CBS, and he was very loyal to people that he liked. He was the best friend you could ever have. If he liked you, you were gold, and he's the kind of friend you'd want to go to war with. If he didn't like you, you needed to move. You needed to leave. You needed to get out, because if he didn't like you, you were finished. There'd be no chance for people he didn't like. And there were people he didn't like, and I mean to tell you, he was the devil. He was the devil. And he screamed, and no one in my entire career has ever come within 100 yards of him for being the most intimidating, scary person I've ever. He's also the smartest guy I ever was around in my life. Now, I always thought Howard Cosell was the smartest guy maybe ever in sports. He had a law background and everything else. And remember, on Monday Night Football, he was so sophisticated with some of the things he was saying that were so far over Don Meredith's head. It wasn't even funny. But Bob Knight was that smart too, intellectually, an Army guy. He thinks like a general in an army in a war. He's that smart. I kid you not. Like, you have no idea how smart that man was and how learned he was. But he was the most intimidating, scary, ferocious, 6'6", 300 pounds. He meant business when he was at Indiana for 30 years. That's what he was. He was 6'6", around 300. I went golfing with him once. He hit a golf ball 325 yards off the tee. I mean, when he hit a ball, like, he literally tore the cover off of it. I was like,
there's a great YouTube video. There's a great YouTube video of Bobby Knight doing a golf instructional video. It's too good. It has the excerpts in between.
Yeah.
He's like, is that not the best effing shot you've ever seen? And like, he's hitting the ball. And like, he was a comedian. For me, Scott, I've been around a lot of people. As my grandfather played, right? So, I knew Punch Imlach and stuff. I knew like these old hard asses. Like, Clarence Campbell drafted my grandfather at the Campbell Conference.
The Campbell Conference trophy.
Yeah, I met Clarence Campbell. Like, you know what I'm saying? So,
the real
like,
one.
I used to meet these guys when I was a kid, and they would crush my head, and my grandfather would tell me, listen, this guy's a little hard. So they'd call him sir. Yes, sir, Mr. Bowman. Like, you know what I mean? I met all these guys, but in the media, Scott, and I've been around a long time, for me, it was Frank Robinson, bro. You would have loved Frank. Frank Robinson was the biggest, meanest hard ass that I ever met, like in sports, that was relentless. Like, had a comeback for everything, didn't like anybody, and had seen it all. Only man to be the MVP besides Ohtani in both leagues. So Ohtani, Frank Robinson, MVP in both leagues, first black manager in baseball. Right. You know who his best friend was, Scott? Al Davis.
That's the fighting.
Like. I used to go in there and people would talk, and he loved me because there's all these like baseball questions and stuff. And I used to hang around, and he used to know I would bet on football. And we would talk about football. And he started busting out pictures, not on a phone, but like framed stuff. And he goes, yeah, I'm very tight with Al Davis. And I'm like, wow, he started telling me. Then he just casually busted out a picture of him, Al Davis, and James Garner, the Rockford Files. He goes, yeah, that was when they won the Super Bowl. I was in the owner's box with them. It's like the three of them.
Remember how cool Jim Garner was in that show?
Yeah, exactly. The Rockford, he's living in the trailer, like going to Raider games. Like, those were the days, Scott. Like, what a heyday. But Frank Robinson, man, I can't even repeat some of the things, like, literally, and not because of language, like, flat out offensive, bro. Like, flat out offensive stuff. Like,
I miss guys
stuff
like
that would be like, like stuff that would be like, I can't believe he just said that.
Yeah.
Like
I think you
over
and
the
I
top
used
stuff.
to be that way, and when we did shows together, we would say things, and people would sit at their homes or wherever in a car going, "Did those two just say that?" Let me ask you about tonight: Lions and Packers at Ford Field. Where are you on this one?
You know what? Stepping out onto the ledge. Give me the Green Bay Packers tonight. I think the Packers can actually win this game outright. I'm taking the Green Bay Packers plus the points. But I think they can win. I think we're going to have a really competitive, fun, higher scoring game. I know it was 24-14 when they played a couple of weeks ago. Throw that one out the window. Detroit's defense is beat up. I'm expecting Green Bay to bring it tonight. I think it's going to be like a 31-30 type of game. 28-27, 31-30 type thing.
Whoa. Look at Morency going rogue with the Packers tonight.
We'll be live during the game. Let's rock.
And you'll be live when it's on. It's craziness.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Right here with you on Pro Football Today on SportsGrid. Odds in motion, trying to see what lines have moved throughout the week.
Never felt more comfortable in this set than I do for this year. I am ready. I'm just getting angry. The hot takes are going to be here all people.
What in the world is going on in Miami, Dom?
It's not particularly anything to shy away from just because many people are on top of it.
Hot take.
I think this line is asking you once again to take New Orleans.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
Two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take.
Ka-ching!
Why? Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results.
What? How do you do this one?
Oh, Donnie, you've got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on Sports Grid.
All right, Carver High, let's get it on. We got a big one tonight on Prime in Detroit. Lions, Packers. You just heard Morency going rogue, taking the Packers to win and to cover the whole deal.
Yeah, Gabe going with the Packers tonight. Of course, they are on the road in Ford Field against the Lions. Second meeting of the year between these two of the best teams in the NFC. Lions beat them at Lambeau back in October 24-14. We'll start with Dan Campbell. He knows that his Lions, they are ready for the challenge of Green Bay tonight.
And this is the type of stuff that you live for. And it's also the type of stuff that gets you ready for the tournament, you know. So, yeah, we're a resilient bunch, and nothing's going to change that. We got to worry about the one in front of us.
Yeah,
There you go.
I think they're very dangerous in that building at home. Their record proves it. They win there. They play better there. They're faster there. They're a machine. And, you know, let's just face facts. They're the best team in the NFL this year. Don't be fooled in that Kansas City record. Kansas City has been winning by the skin of their teeth. And Detroit, for the most part, has been whacking everyone. They've had their fair share of letdowns. I thought Thanksgiving, you know, it's a holiday, whatever. They let the Bears back in that game. They were up big, but they let them back in the game. So I thought that was a, you know, porous effort, but they still won the game, right? Like, and everyone else, they went to Lambeau and they beat the Packers easily, if you ask me. So now they got him at home. Yeah, I'm not ready to go where he went. I'm still Lions here, and not only that, you know, if you're gonna eat both sides of the sandwich, I'm gonna eat the whole hoagie. Give me the Lions, lay it.
Yeah, I'm going to be going with the Lions as well here tonight. I'll give you the up-to-the-date numbers in a moment. I'm going to play you Matt LaFleur first. Now, remember yesterday I played you that clip. He didn't seem like he was in a very good mood. You know, I don't care what day it is. I don't care anything about this. You know, I just care about the next game. So now we go to the next day. It seems like he still wasn't in a very good mood. In fact, it was our old friend, I know you remember this guy, Bill Huber, who covers the Packers up there. We used to have him on all the time. Well, yeah. Bill obviously caught Matt at a real bad moment because Matt was like staring him down and giving him the business. Here we go.
Is Rome still in the protocol? Is he out now?
He is.
Making these questions, I'm sorry. Is he out?
No, he's not.
He's still in. Okay, thank you.
I answered your first question.
You feel good about him for Thursday?
We'll see. I mean, I have no idea. I'm not a doctor.
You don't let Bill give Bill the business there. I mean, geez. Bill's just trying to find out if the guy's playing or not. Come on, Matt. Matt's very focused. He's very focused. Unbelievable. Really
I get a little tired of these guys. You know, obviously they get sick and tired of doing the interviews. And, you know, listen, let's calm down here for a second. When you get a job as a head coach in the National Football League, or in any professional league in sports in the world, whether it's the Premier League, whether it's the NHL, the NBA, any of them, baseball, it's just this simple. You get paid millions of dollars to coach the team. And part of that deal, without provocation, is you have to answer the media. You have to face the media. You have to do pressers. You have to do interviews. You have to sell the shield, if you will, in the NFL. every single coach has to have press conferences. They have to meet the media, whether they like it or not, and then they go out and treat them like crap. They are so offended that they have to do these interviews that they treat the reporters like crap. I think it's ridiculous. I always have. If you can't handle the media, frankly, I wonder if you can handle the job. So why take the job? If you don't like doing interviews, go work, planting flowers. You cannot be a D every time you get in front of cameras and lights and microphones. And this guy's starting to come across that way to me. Like he's some kind of tough guy. The other guy gets sick and tired of is this Antonio Pierce hack-ass coach out in Vegas. He's a hack, a cheater, a liar, a thief. God, don't get me started on the $50 million he's stolen in bankruptcy and everything else with his wife. Don't get me started on this guy. He's a criminal. And he's another one that gets in front of the cameras and treats people like Shaq. I'm sick and tired of it. If you accept the millions of dollars and rollover money for 5 years in every pro sport when you get a head coaching job, you either know you're going to do these interviews or go fishing. Honest to Christ. I've had enough of it. I'm above you. I'm smarter than you. I'm going to treat you like a dog. That's what they do. They treat these media people like dogs. And, I always used to say when I was in press conferences with Bob Knight, when I was a kid, I used to think I could challenge him, and I was sadly mistaken. As I got older, I worked with Chuck Noll, and I learned how to shut up when I went to his press conference. And now that I'm at my ripe age of 59, I want to be the one that stands up in the room and gives it back to him. I'm not afraid of fat Antonio Pierce. I'm not afraid of the little weasel Matt LaFleur. What is he going to do to me? I'm 6'4", 240. I will truck your ass, you little femme. You want to treat me like crap? How about I treat you like crap and see how you like it? Now, here's what happens. They won't let any media person go back at them. They will end the press conference right then and there if anyone challenges their precious little commodity head coaches, which is so hypocritical, it's not even funny. They should have more people that have the stones to go in there and argue with them and go back at them and get away with it. That's exactly the way it should work. Boom, I'm right about that too.
Maybe he just doesn't like Bill. Maybe it's Bill he doesn't like.
I don't like
Maybe
him.
He just wants to give.
I hope he loses by 20 tonight. How does that sound?
Well, the one thing he can say is he does win. Second most wins in NFL history by a coach in his first 6 seasons.
Doesn't mean you have to treat people poorly. I don't treat anyone poorly.
That's true.
That
does not give him the right to be able to do that.
Listen,
he
you
should
have
not
worked
do
with
that.
me for over a decade, and all I know is I treat the cleaning lady as well as I treat the boss. Same thing. Nice to everybody. It goes a long way. I don't treat anyone like crap. And people that treat people like crap, you know what I like to do? I like to get in their face.
Yeah, they don't like that when you do that. When you get in their face, they don't like that. That gets them upset.
I love
but
to
that's
take
okay.
on bullies and tough guys and ass hats. I love it. I live for it. And I'll play dirty in basketball too. I'll break your nose in 5 seconds, and I'm good at it.
You've gotten a lot of trouble in the past for doing that. You've been thrown out of
in several fist fights, and it happens. And things sometimes, as they say in the south of France, sometimes somebody needs to smack you in the face.
Sometimes that does need to happen. It is 3.5 tonight still with a 51.5. I always love giving you trends. Here we go. Jared Goff, 44-19 against the spread since he's been with the Lions. 70%. Boy, Jared covers games. But on the other side, Jordan Love, 5-1 against the spread when he's a dog of 3 or more points, as he is tonight.
Sorry, that's not enough of a package for me. 6 games.
Make it 5-2. Make it 5-2 after tonight. Lions tonight.
This is the same thing as you trying to sell me on Famous Jameis. 13-5 against the spread with 6.5 points or more. And I said, screw that. It's not enough games. This is even less games. So give me Goff, Lions, lay it. Let's dance.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Right here with you on Pro Football Today on SportsGrid. Odds in motion, trying to see what lines have moved throughout the week.
Never felt more comfortable in this set than I do for this year. I am ready. I'm just getting angry. The hot takes are going to be here all long, people.
What in the world is going on in Miami, Dom?
It's not particularly anything to shy away from just because many people are on top of it.
Hot take, hot take.
I think this line is asking you once again to take New Orleans.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
The two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take.
Ka-ching!
Why? Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results.
What? How do you do this one?
Oh, Donnie, you've got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
Gotta say it, right? Like, before we go to your tutty picks, which are more important than, I think, oxygen, our guy, right, like Ink-Stained Wretch, they banned him from, he challenged Embiid. He did the story about Embiid. He brought up things that Embiid didn't like. So the Sixers banned him from the arena. He's not allowed to go to games the entire season in Philly because they didn't like his work. They didn't like his column. Now, are you kidding me? Like, how absolutely ridiculous and pathetic and thin-skinned and weak and feeble and just with a capital P. The Sixers are a bunch of peas, okay? What a bunch of peas that some writer gets so under your skin that you fem out and ban him from going to your games is really I think the softest thing I've ever seen. Like that, like, you're pathetic when you do something like that. We're gonna ban the reporter from the games in the arena, so we just don't have to have him around because we don't like what he writes. Now, don't get me started on writers, great writers in the, can you imagine Mike Royko? Can you imagine if the Chicago Bears tried to ban Mike Royko from writing his column or going to games in the history of sport? Are you don't get me started. I could go through 15 or 20 guys that are so legendary as writers that they've never been banned from the arenas and the job and covering the teams because they're so absolutely childish as the Philadelphia 76ers are protecting this giant 300-pound galoof. Like the way they protect this guy, you'd think he was the Queen of England. I mean, honest to Christ. It's the most unbelievable thing I've ever seen. The guy writes a column and he's been banned for life. Like, what is wrong with sports today is this. This is what's wrong. You know what? Screw them. I hope they lose every single effing game they play. Not only that, I hope their players get injured on a nightly basis and get crippled with injuries. Because, hey, if it's okay to ban fans and ban media, why don't we just ban effing you? Why don't we'll do the same thing. We'll turn the tables and we'll wish bocce jinx injuries on all your players and ban your team and hope they lose every game they play. What a bunch of tools and losers they are in that city, at that franchise, and that organization. And I think the same people on the hockey team, too. I mean, what a bunch of losers they are. And that hockey coach, too, Tortorella, he's another one that treats people like crap. Someone needs to beat that little midget's ass. You heard me. He's about 4 foot tall. I'd smack him around like a redheaded stepchild. Let me in there to clean his ass up the way he treats people. And you can quote me on all of it. I don't care. Quote me on all of it. Every single word of it. Boom. All of it.
Here's where we're going tonight.
Don't get me started.
In Detroit.
We're
not. Here's where we're going tonight. I got a 4-pack for the Lions and the Packers. First tutty tonight. We are going with Amon-Ra St. Brown, 7-1 for the first tutty. Of course, play him for the anytime as well. Jaden Reed for the Packers at plus $1.55. Shot of J-Mo. Jameson Williams, plus 220 for the Lions. And we'll even go a little deep shot. No Dobbs tonight. So how about a little Dontavian Wicks at plus 270 for the Cheeseheads tonight as well. So a 4-pack for us. And you know what? You want to have a little fun? Montgomery for 2 as well. That's the back I'd go for the 2 tonight. Because one of those running backs usually gets 2 each game. So I'll go with Montgomery.
Give me Gibbs, Montgomery, Laporta. Let's just open up the floodgates. Open up the floodgates. That's what I want to see. A wild game where everyone's getting a piece. Can we get Montgomery in and Gibbs, 1 each, and give Laporta a taste as well? Why not?
Why not? Let's get heavily involved is what we should do. All right, so Lions and the Packers, of course, you'll do more with Adam later on when you get him in the final hour, getting ready for this evening.
Very exciting.
We'll do some other things now in week number 14. The Jets and the Dolphins get together in Miami this week. It's been a long time since the Jets have beaten the Dolphins down in Miami. I think Rex was the last time the Jets won there against Flipper. But, of course, Aaron Rodgers winding down as the quarterback of the Jets. The sad thing is, Scott, he was planning on being there a long time. The poor guy even just did renovations on his house in New Jersey.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I just redid my house here in Jersey, so my goal was to play a few more years here. But we'll see. You know, I like to be healthy. I like to end on my feet. And then I like to play well. And I like, to feel like I'm wanted back. If not, that's, again, I will not be offended. I won't be upset. I'll be so thankful either way, whatever happens here. But, I got to be healthy mentally, physically, and then there's got to be interest on both sides. And if that's not the case, then I'll look at other options. But first I'll think about whether I actually want to play or not. But it usually takes a good, month to get away from it, which I'll do the first month, and then see what happens.
Yeah, I don't know, Mike. I got to ask you right now, Flush. I heard people talking about this today, about whether or not that he'll be back with the Jets, but will anyone else want him? For what reason? He's not a guy that wants to teach a new kid the ropes of how to be an NFL quarterback. He's not a teacher. He's not a guy that they call him bridge quarterbacks. He's not that either. He's just not that either. So do you believe in any capacity whatsoever that the Jets want him back for another season? I told you, believe it or not, his numbers are ideal in terms of, he has not been the numbers aren't bad. I told you yesterday they're on the same ilk as Patrick Mahomes. In fact, they're eerily similar. The facts remain is that they don't win. All they do is lose. So they got to blame somebody. They've already blamed Salah. They're not going to blame Ulbrich. I want to come back and get your opinion of me. You think they want him back in any stretch or form?
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Right here with you on Pro Football Today on SportsGrid. Odds in motion, trying to see what lines have moved throughout the week.
Never felt more comfortable in the set than I do for this year. I'm ready. I'm just getting angry. The hot takes are going to be here all long, people.
What in the world is going on in Miami, Dom?
It's not particularly anything to shy away from just because many people are on top of it.
Hot take.
I think this line is asking you once again to take New Orleans.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
Two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results.
What? How do you do this once?
Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
So, I mean, Adam says he wants to stay with the Jets. Rodgers says he wants to stay with the Jets, obviously. What do you think is going to happen, Mike? I mean, they're 3-9. All they do is lose. And you said something in the break that I agree with, that you don't think it's his fault.
Well, look, I don't think it's completely his fault, as it's kind of been painted in this town. I think that a lot of people have just said, Aaron Rodgers has sucked this year, and he's the reason. I think that's his play is probably like third or fourth on the list for me, to be quite honest with you. I'm not saying he's been awesome, and that it's not like Burrow in Cincinnati where he's been so great and the rest of the team sucks. But I think their defense is the number one reason why they've been so bad this year. I think their defense was overrated to begin with, and I think they quit after Salah got fired, and they've done absolutely nothing since. I don't think that the offensive line is as good as people thought it was going to be. And that's a part of the reason with Rodgers. Like, he's a statue back there. He can't move. So when he's actually had time to stand there, the numbers aren't so bad. But that's not very often this year with him. Bad offensive line and bad defense for me, and extremely poor coaching. Extremely poor coaching. So you wrap all those things. I think he'll be gone, because whoever comes in and gets hired to clean up the mess, I don't think is going to want to do it with a 41-year-old quarterback. I just don't see how. And I don't think Woody wants him anymore either.
Who's going to want a 41-year-old guy that's going like this at the end?
Right.
Who's going to want him around?
I think that, and I don't and he's not going to go just anywhere. I think he'd only go somewhere where like Favre did when he left the Jets. That was a great spot for him. He went to Minnesota, and he ended up going to an NFC Championship game, played 2 more years, 3 more years, whatever it was. I don't think that spot currently exists for him. I mean, if you sat down and went through team by team and thought about it real hard, who's close enough and good enough that just adding him in makes them a contender? I don't know who it is. I don't think there's any team that fits that bill. Now, could someone get hurt in the next 5 weeks that's going to be out all for next year? Let's say somebody tears an ACL or blows an Achilles in the next 5 weeks. Who knows? We don't like to see that happen to people, but it happens all the time. There might be a place for him then, but I don't know who would want him in there, who would bring him in at 41 next year. I think he'd rather go sit in the house out there, the $25 million home out in California, and just take care of business there in terms of instead of going and playing for a bad team next year. I don't think he's going to do that. No chance.
Fair enough.
And same thing with his buddy. I know Adam says all the right things yesterday. Like, I want to be back here too. Yeah, if his buddy's gone and there's a whole new, somebody's coming in and cleaning house there and starting from scratch, I don't believe he's going to want to do that either. He didn't want to do it at the Raiders. He didn't want to
so what are they going to do? Are they going
to
draft with their lousy record? They're going to get a high draft pick. Are they going to go draft one of these stud quarterbacks? Would you, if you were them, and you could get your hands on that kid Rourke from Indiana with that arm of his and the way he plays the game, like, he is a really smart, strong-arm quarterback. That guy can flat out play the position. Without a doubt, he's getting drafted. And, I mean, I think he's right there with Sanders and Ward, to be honest with you. I really do. Do you think they would draft a kid like that?
I do not think that he's going to be a guy that you spend a top 10 pick on. I don't think that the quarterback class is as good as ones we've had the past few years.
So what are they going to do?
I just don't.
Are they going to play the single wing?
They're going to be in the, maybe that might be where when you come out of no more options, maybe whoever does come back is going to be forced into having to deal with 1 year of the 41-year-old quarterback. Maybe it's
That's
possible.
the thing.
If there's no other options out there,
they don't have an option.
That's very true as well. Maybe Justin Fields. Maybe it's clear. The Steelers are going to go with Russ. Fields might be available. He's going to be a free agent.
Who would you rather have run the Jets? And Frank the Tank's a fan. Who would you rather have running the Jets, Aaron Rodgers or Justin Fields? Now, that is a really easy answer. That's right.
Justin Fields for me, I think. I'd go with Fields next year. I would take a chance with Justin Fields over Rodgers.
I love Justin Fields, but he is not a great quarterback. He's not. He's a great runner. That's what he is.
He's a great. That's why the Steelers keep bringing him out once or twice a game with those packages, right? For him to run around. Right. That's all he does.
It's a new era in CFP to start off this year, put on full display.
My take on this game is simple. I know some people will be upset about it. Good riddance to the Pac-12.
Can you do it in terms of the week to week to week?
I don't see a pathway for this team to miss the college football playoffs.
We want to make sure you have those best bets in the entirety of our betting cards. That was thinking! But he had that program was already going there!
Only on Sports Grid.
We live in a society right now where everybody's a snowflake, everybody's a cupcake, and everybody thinks that nothing is fair. Everything is like, it's not fair. We should have a better chance. We need more. You know what? I'm old enough to remember when you needed to have a perfect goddamn record to win a college football championship. That's the way it was. 11-1, too bad.
Sports Rage tonight, only on Sports Grid.
absolutely fillet Indiana. They would smash them. Honestly,
do you listen to yourself
honestly.
speak? That's not a
Come
reality
on.
question. They have not played
Come
each
on.
other. You are using hypothetical.
And they got embarrassed.
As so
then.
many
if
teams
they would have
do.
won that football, yes, that's you're
But that's the
100%
thing, Johnny.
correct.
No.
The
Stop.
only
Please stop.
the only
Let me
argument
speak.
is Indiana is a decent football team and a product of their environment.
The Early Line. Only on Sports Grid.
He shouldn't need to hire outside help at this point to be able to help him, let alone outside help, Joe, that used to work for him.
Until they get him out of the way, I just don't see how this gets any better. And like you said, who are you picking from? Because most people who know the league want nothing to do with the ownership group there with the Jets.
Pharrell Coast to Coast. Only on Sports Grid.